Embodies. Welcome to the It's Giving Mystical podcast with me, Kirsten. The week of 7/7, our mini podcast for this week ahead. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How did the Hermit Week treat you? I wonder if you needed to call on your guides, your ancestors, your companions. I wonder if you felt yourself pulling back from the world a little bit, maybe in a surprising way, given that we are in the supposed height of summer. Listen, we are entering the 7/7 week, 7th day, 7th month, 7th year. As I said on the July monthly podcast, 7 is the number of sacred mystery. You cannot hold a 7 in your hand. You can't make sense of 7. Your brain can't plan or fix or resolve or decide in 7 energy. It is literally impossible. So just keep that in mind, that your mental body is a little bit disabled this month. The planning, the transformation, the alchemy, the mystery that is imbuing your body, your field, and the world right now is working really hard. There's a lot happening, but it's not happening in a way that you can actually translate for people or for yourself. That might have you feeling a little bit confused, a little bit lost. It might have you feeling a little bit angry. Not everyone likes that feeling of dissolution and being lost. That's not I don't know, is a space a lot of people are not comfortable living in. And I personally had to do a lot of work to get to a place where I could enjoy that. And I'll say that even in this month where I know this is happening and I know how to lean into it, it's still deeply uncomfortable. That whole fuck off with your 7s energy might be very real. There might be some anxiety present for you as well, and we're going to talk about that because the card that came up for us this week is the Two of Swords. We call the Two of Swords in traditional tarot, you call it the horns of a dilemma, on the horns of a dilemma. The figure is seated on a stone bench. Their water is behind them. They are holding 2 swords across their chest. So their hands are crossed, and there's a huge heavy sword the same length as them in either hand. And then they're blindfolded. It is an incredibly uncomfortable position. If you're familiar with the card, if you want to take a second and look it up, imagine sitting like that. I don't even think I could do it. I'm not sure I could even get the swords upright with my little arm strength. But I definitely couldn't stay there very long. You also want to think about the horns of a dilemma. If you were really on the horns of a bull, you can't stay there. You're not going to stay there. You will not stay still. And yet, it can feel like you've been there forever. It can feel like, oh my God, I am never going to find a solution here. I am never going to find my way to the next step. I'm never going to fix this, solve this, have a plan out of this. And I will say to you that that is not true. That's not true. It can feel like it. And, welcome to the big show. We're all spiraling around the same issue usually over and over again. But we're not the same. The world is not the same. The circumstances are not the same. And if you can trust one thing, you can trust change. You can trust the unfolding. The Two of Swords is an energy of turning inward and putting so much pressure on yourself to figure this out. Whatever this is, whatever you got to figure out, you're working so hard on it. I'll say that there's a level of self-harm here. The Two of Swords is literally holding themselves in a painful position. They're hurting themselves. So think about the ways that you might be hurting yourself with your tension around fixing this, with not honoring the anger you feel in this space, or trying to put yourself in check by using harsh words or harsh language, or really being unkind and possibly even cruel to yourself. There's a kind of masochism associated with this card. Have awareness of this greater mystery, this moment of mystery that we're in, and just notice any way that you think there's something wrong with you because things are uncomfortable. That is also false. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with being uncomfortable. We spend a lot of mental energy constructing and framing the world in a way that says, I'm okay. This is okay. I figured it out, and now I'm okay. Again, beautiful thing to do. It's a psychology, right? It's a way of us creating space and peace and safety in our life. When that fails us, like it does in a Two of Swords moment, like it does in a month of sacred mystery, we can be left flailing. It may have worked in the past for you to kind of whip yourself back into line maybe part of what's happening is you're being offered an opportunity to do this differently, to do this with a little more tenderness, a little more forgiveness, a little more self-compassion. The Two of Swords, their heart is blocked, their eyes are blocked. They are completely engrossed, absorbed in their own process, in their own constriction around what it feels like to me is like, I have to fix this. Like, it's life or death. Like, I have to come up with a solution. I have to come up with a plan. I have to come up with a way forward. Remember that the Two of Swords is the reflection. It's the mirror of the High Priestess. Pull her into your life this week. The High Priestess, if you look at the two cards side by side, is a very similar image of a figure dressed in blue and white robes, with a veil at their back, and the primordial mist, the void, everything and nothing behind them, all things. And the job of the oracle, the place of the High Priestess, is to relax into that and open themselves as a channel to draw through what needs to come next, to draw through truth. In all of the ways that the High Priestess is relaxed, the Two of Swords is alert and attentive and leaning in and constricting. All of these cards have medicine, right? Like, no, I've said it before, there are no good cards, no bad cards. The medicine of the Two of Swords comes in that the swords are actually breaking the frame. There's a collection of cards in the tarot called the separation cards. And if you start tracking the cards across the entire tarot, you'll see that there are certain cards where it's in the Rider-Waite deck where the figures appear on kind of this gray platform, almost like a stage, and the scene is actually behind them, the environment is behind them. This is a separation card. The way that the swords are extending past the frame is really important, because if the swords were in the frame, it would be like they were stuck in the separation, stuck on the stage, stuck in their own internal processing and kind of torturing themselves with that. Because the swords are breaking the frame, that is the invitation, that is the medicine of the Two of Swords. We put ourselves in this uncomfortable position to recognize that we cannot stay here. And that is a gift. That is a gift of liberation. It is the idea of looking at a frame, looking at the whole world through a frame and saying, oh, this is the whole world. I am seeing the whole world. And then one day you step back and you realize you're just looking at a frame on a wall. And if you step back, you realize that, like, there's so much more to the picture. There's so much more to the world. It's similar to like that Plato's cave, thinking that the shadows on the wall are reality when they are not even close. The gift of the Two of Swords is, oh my God, I have been forcing something, framing something, hurting myself with my thoughts, with my words, with my language, in a way that I'm done doing that. I'm done with that. The medicine of the Two of Swords is kind of a tricky one. It's not like devil, but it's not unlike devil, in that we get ourselves into such a bind that the only option is to ask for freedom. The only option is to transcend. Which brings us back to this month of sacred mystery. You will transcend. This is a month of deep alchemy. Things are changing in ways that you really cannot understand. And I'll say, like, even me recording this is kind of like, let's stop talking about it. There's nothing to talk about, really, which is so confusing for my Gemini moon brain, and can be so confusing for a world we live in where we love active, alert conversation, right? We love to be therapeutic about things and be intentional about things and think about our language and work things in this mental way. It's kind of hit a limit this month, and in particular, it's hitting a limit this week. When you reach a limit, you have to lean on the other tools available to you. A few years ago, I was in a really, really tricky place, and I was really struggling one day. I was just like, I couldn't get it together. I was so sad about something that was happening in my life, and I called some women I was studying with and working with, and I said, I can't get it together. I need help. I need help because my kids are coming home, and I don't want to be a mess in front of them. And my one friend, I remember so clearly, Stephanie, she said to me, clean the house and make some soup. She's like, just do it. And I was like, I don't know what you mean. But I was like, all right, I'll do it. And I did it, and it changed everything. It grounded my energy. It brought my energy out of my headspace into my body and into the world. That is the invitation of the Two of Swords, and it's the invitation more around us this month, is be in July. July is like the month of sensualism and heat and warmth and abundance, like physical, material abundance. Drop into that. Drop into that this month. Maybe you don't want to make soup, it's a little hot, make some gazpacho, but make some mint tea. My mint is feral. It is like overcome the container, and now it's like growing around the container, and part of me is like, what? And part of me is like, delicious. Make some mint tea, make some iced mint tea. There's nothing more delicious than that. The point is, what can you do to drop into your space, into your body, and tend to what is real, tend to what is yours, tend to creating spaciousness and clarity and peace and beauty in your world, and let that resonate. Let your body bathe in that. Let your body remember itself through that. Let your mind remember itself through that. All the ways you're trying to fix something or plan something, maybe that's working for you, and if it is, God bless and Godspeed. But if you are trying to do these things and you are falling short, if you're feeling that constriction, that tension in your brain and just struggling with it, I offer you the world. I offer you the world. I offer you to just let it go. Remember a moment where you also felt stuck. Like, remember some previous thing in your life where you were like, oh my God, there's never going to be a solution, and we're never going to get there, and I'm never going to make a plan, and I'm never going to get to the other side of this. And you did. And you did. And the world kept moving. And even if you weren't the one to solve it, I bet you it got solved. And that's what you need to kind of draw into your body, draw into your memory this week. The Two of Swords is not comfortable, but it's not comfortable for a reason. I would say that even your brain, which works so hard to create stasis, gets to a point where it wants more. And the Two of Swords is the offering of, how do I transcend this? How do I create a frame that is larger? Or fuck that, how do I step out of the house and allow myself to take in the whole vista, the whole mountain range? Like, how do I just let it all wash over me? There's really an invitation for sensuality, an invitation for engagement in the world this week. Be kind to yourself. That is the homework and the lesson and the rule. Notice the ways in which you beat yourself up for not having it all figured out. And whatever your reaction to that, welcome it. If it's anger, welcome it. If it's grief, welcome it. If it's confusion, welcome it. How could you be more of a yes to what is? That is the invitation. It's not so fun. It's uncomfortable for a reason. And yet, here we are. And yet, to relax back into the spaciousness of the High Priestess, into the openness of allowing what is meant to come through, is pretty cool. Nothing meant for you will pass you by. And, we try to figure it all out. And what we have planned for ourselves is so much smaller than what the universe has planned for us. Remember that. The most beautiful moments in your life, the moments that really took your breath away, that you remember with such joy and fullness, you didn't necessarily plan for, and you didn't necessarily see them coming. So lean into that. Oh, Two of Swords. But I'll say, when you look at it, you really feel inspired to put it down. You just feel inspired to put it down. And you have this awareness of just how uncomfortable you make yourself trying to fix things. Oh, we're so sweet. We're so crazy. Yeah, peace begins within, right? Peace starts at home. Peace is not something that you can think your way into. Peace is something you have to feel your way into. Allow yourself to lean back into the arms of the universe. Allow a deeper sense of peace and ease to unfold in your heart and your body this week. And, take off the blindfold, uncross your arms, open yourself to what is. Open yourself to this pretty freaking magical, beautiful world that we live in. There's so much to enjoy right here, right now. If you can't enjoy where you are, what's one thing you could change? What's one thing you could change right now to make your space more beautiful, to make your body feel more loved? Drink some water, the old adage, drink some water, go for a walk. Whatever, man. That's what makes life worth living. This beautiful, beautiful world that we live in. Okay, giving you so much love. I'm sick of hearing my voice. I'm sick of the words. I'm sick of the thoughts. Let's all go take a vacay together. Big, big hug and so much love. Bye. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you are pure potential. It's giving mystical.